welcome to Music Business Today, where we bring you the latest and greatest news happening in the music world.
We do, Hannah, and today we're going to have the VMA Wrap-Ups, and that's pretty much it, plus a little bit of talk about Michael Jackson, but of course, all the talk is on Miley Cyrus, and we'll tell you all about that when we come back.
Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkapolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Welcome back to Music Business Today. I'm Kane Harrison.
And I am Hannah Jackson. And first off, well, let's just get her out of the way. Miley Cyrus. That performance was something else.
It really was. Well, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
She started off, she came out by herself. Actually, prior to that,
well, she came out with her tongue. She didn't really come out by herself.
But she came out with her tongue prior to even the performance, because she was on the red carpets, and when, you know, everyone does the glamour shot and the skinny arm and all the stuff that goes with it, she was out there wagging her tongue around like nothing else, I guess, this whole kitty cat type thing.
Is she having like tongue spasms or something?
No,
like,
well,
I just don't get it.
Well, she was like a kitty cat is what I'm assuming, and so when she come out dressed as the way she was, and she was around all the teddy bears.
Like she's been reincarnated as a kitty cat?
I don't know. I've got no idea, but she certainly made a bang, and everyone's talking about it, including us, but she set all kinds of records, like 306,000 people per minute were tweeting about her performance.
Yeah, but do you really want to set records when they're like, because you were awful?
Well, I mean, my whole thought on the VMAs this time around was, honestly, and I know that it's the Video Music Awards brought to us by MTV, but so it is all about the visual, and it really was about the visual. Like, there were no, I didn't think, clear...
I felt uncomfortable watching her.
Yeah.
I stopped.
I mean, the vocal performance to me wasn't great. Her songs weren't great.
That's a given.
But then, we're obviously talking completely about Miley Cyrus, but then Robin Thicke, who we've talked about plenty on this show, and about how great we've thought he was in the way that he portrayed everything, because he's the guy who has... you know, a wife, has for a long, long period of time, has, I think, a little boy, I think.
I know he has a child.
A child. And, you know, I think he blurred the lines, pardon to pun as well.
Well, yeah, because, like, you know, in his Blurred the Lines video, like, even the nude one, I feel like it's sexy, but it's not, like, overtly sexual. Like, I don't feel gross watching it. And then with this, like, and that foam finger, I just, no,
yeah, it was pretty outrageous, and you know, there's been a lot of people to and fro on both sides. We'll go into it a little bit more, but we'll talk about.
Well, I think they meant for it to be sexy, but it wasn't sexy. It was too just like overtly sexual.
I think that, and as I say, we'll go into some of the other stuff later on about the commission and stuff that's involved. But I think that when you're Miley Cyrus and you know that Lady Gaga is going to be performing for the first time, like, across, so you expect, we've all expected Lady Gaga to be shock rock always, but she still hasn't been overtly sexual. So it's kind of like comedy to me, when comedy is great when it doesn't have to go to that place all the time. And I think Gaga's done that for years and done it so well. She's been shock rock for sure. But I just feel like Miley went the easy route and just said, let's really sex it up. And it was to the point where, like, I'm no prude, but it was kind of just, it was too much. It was like awkward to watch. So, but someone who wasn't awkward to watch was JT.
Okay.
For you especially,
I'm going to be honest. I totally went, and my very first concert ever was the No Strings Attached tour. I was in like 7th grade, I think. And so needless to say, when they come on stage and did Bye Bye Bye, I literally was smiling like a little girl. And I was totally okay with it.
And I mean, I did see some of that this morning, and they did a great job. Like, they actually sounded pretty good. And I mean, some of them, they don't quite look the way that they did back in the day, but they still aren't too bad. But JT,
I mean, they're all like
but
late
JT,
30s,
I mean,
right?
they did a melody of some of his tunes as well, and he can just do whatever he wants. So I think that
there were moments where I felt like he wasn't completely on with what I usually expect from him vocally, but then he kind of made up for it in other moments when I was like, okay, nope, he's got it.
I mean, I think that was an underlying, except for maybe Katy Perry, who killed it again. But we won't, I mean, hardly anyone will talk about her because of the fact that there was so much other stuff going on with Miley and the rest of it. But it just was that, I mean, all reports are saying the same thing. It sort of just seems as though it was all about performance and more than lyrical content. Like, the songs weren't great always, I don't think now.
I liked his medley, though. I loved the dancing breaks. I loved everything
he's
that he
brilliant.
did with it.
I mean,
it was wonderful.
he gets 1,000 chances to make a fool of himself because he just has such good integrity. He's done wonderful things and isn't scared to sort of take the piss out of himself. He's on Saturday Night Live 5 times.
He works hard.
Yeah.
He works really hard for what he does with acting, with music, with everything. Like, he doesn't just, hey, cool guys, like, I'm awesome and popular, so you should, like, cater to me. Like, he works his ass off.
Absolutely.
And you can tell.
And, I mean, they also, we've got some hits and misses in front of us at the moment, which we can talk about. And they've definitely said that Justin Timberlake and NSYNC was a big hit.
Yeah. Katy Perry was not a hit or miss. She was a full-on win.
Yes, she definitely was. And for the people who didn't see that, so I think from memory, and I could be wrong here, but I think this was the first time the VMAs were in Brooklyn. And so Katy Perry closed out the show with her in a boxing ring for a new single, Raw, which was set underneath the Brooklyn Bridge.
Which everyone's used to Katy Perry having like some crazy outfit with like lollipops on it or something. I loved this kind of change of look for her, and I just thought she looked adorable. Yeah,
someone who is massive but absolutely just went under the radar was Drake. Because he was classed as a miss because of the fact that he was kind of there was no bells and
with the first song. He kind of got it back with the second half, but the first, just sort of, if you just spend too much time on like a ballady type piece with an audience like that that's expecting a show, then you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, I think. And what about Kanye West? He just kept to himself this year, which I think was kind of important. But they said that he also missed. And his performance, he was sort of silhouetted.
You didn't know if he was really on stage or not. And people want you to be present.
Yeah,
like if you'd have done that for like the first 10 seconds of the song, awesome, that would have been really cool. But to do it for most of the song, that's just, And of course, Bruno Mars, like I feel like people aren't talking about him enough, with like the Lady Gaga and the Miley Cyrus, but he vocally just
every time
blew it out of the water. He was definitely a hit.
He absolutely nails it every time. But we'll go into a bit of the story about the Television Advisory Board, the Parents Television Council, issued a statement about the MTV VMA Music Awards. And that was that, I guess it was rated for 14 and up
is what they had said that it was appropriate for. But then the first commercial break was like a condom commercial.
Yeah, and also they were advertising rated R movies as well to go and see. So it is a really weird and fine line. And I know MTV have always pushed boundaries, and I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. MTV know who their audience are, and it is the people who are downloading Miley Cyrus songs.
And they're a cable network. So the thing is, like, you can only push boundaries so much being a cable network, and you're just a part of the television package when people order their cable subscription, so you have to keep that in mind that there are going to be kids watching this show.
It's still, though, I mean, the parents, because of course you can put blocks and bands on all your cable networks and things like that.
I wasn't allowed to watch MTV when I was that age.
Well, I mean, but if the
watched
parents
VH1.
are advised that this is the rating for it, then they go with good faith that I imagine the kids are begging them, can we watch it? Can we watch it for all their stars? And then for for Miley Cyrus to come out. And,
Gaga was borderline, like at the end of her performance, but she didn't stay in the outfit for very long. She wasn't like doing any crazy gyrations. She didn't have a foam finger that she was rubbing up on herself. So for all, purposes, I feel like hers was it was borderline, but it was within, I think, what could have been okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they went on to say, this is the Parent Television Council. This is absolutely clear. MTV marketed adults-only material to children while falsely manipulating the content rating to make parents think that the content was safe for their children.
Yeah.
And I know that seems like a lot of big words and everything else, but that's pretty much what happened, is that it does seem like there was some manipulation to try and get the audience in, because if they had have been aware, and they are aware of what these people are doing on stage, no doubt.
Well, they do a rehearsal, they knew what Miley was going to come out and do. They knew all about all of that,
Yeah. So, but nevertheless, there was a little bit more controversy with Taylor Swift at the awards too, who was caught on camera telling One Direction to shut the fuck up, basically. So, and she was just quietly whispering it to her friend Selena Gomez, I believe it was, sitting next to her because she dated one of the One Direction guys. got up on
Harry,
stage.
maybe?
I think
Harry?
one of those guys. And they got up on stage and they were, sort of selling out by saying that, the New York crowd is the best crowd in the world and everything else. And she just quietly leaned over and said something to her friend. And it was obviously caught on camera. And they would, paparazzi, the TV, they're just waiting for her to make a mistake.
You know what? I don't judge her for it. I have nothing wrong with her saying that, because I know I've had my moments when I've leaned over to my friend when someone I used to be in a relationship with was talking and just been like, oh, holy shit, really?
I mean,
I don't even want
exactly,
to hear
and she's had
we've
her
all
fair
been
share
there,
of ups and
right?
downs at these awards. She
Yeah.
looked fantastic. She was graceful
did.
when
She
she
was
got
great.
up and she accepted her award for one of her latest videos. So it was just kind of, I think, one of those moments where friends and we sort of were able to be brought into that world for a second and could see her saying a few things about an ex-boyfriend, which I'm sure we've all done.
We've all been there. She is not a terrible person by any means.
No, she
for
looked
doing
great.
that.
Selena looks great as well, and we've got the clip here. We'll probably put some of these links up for you guys to see. But what do you reckon, Hannah? I think that that's about it. We've pretty much covered it.
That's all the VMAs. That's pretty much, what's on the radar right now.
Absolutely, it's what everyone's talking about. So hopefully we've given you guys a bit of an insight to the people who hadn't seen it.
If you haven't watched those videos, get online. Like every
Jump
single one
online.
of those performances are online, or you can still watch it on demand. Watch all of the VMAs on demand.
For sure.
So.
And while you're searching around, don't forget that we've got an awesome app for Talkapolis, which you can watch all of our programs on the phone, and obviously
find us on Facebook,
where you're probably watching us right now, or slip by our Facebook pages, say hello, follow us on Twitter, and stay up with all the latest music news.
Yeah.
Until then,
see you next time.
see you guys.